So, Ginger.
Yeah?
You know how we wanted to start a podcast, but we were having trouble coming up with a topic?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my pitch. The topic of the podcast is us trying to come up with the topic for the podcast.
What? Like we pitch each other podcast ideas and that's the podcast?
Yeah, exactly. We could call it, What Should Our Podcast Be About?
Miles, that's really stupid. Let's do it.
What should this song be about? I'm trying to figure it out. What should this song be about? Could you perhaps help me out? I've had a moment of doubt. What should this song be about? Welcome to What Should Our Podcast Be About? The podcast where we try to figure out what this podcast that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm Miles Grover.
And I'm Ginger Barham.
And this is our 50th episode.
What?
And I now have a sound button thing I can push to have some
Why did you invite all these people to our podcast recording?
Hilarious.
So
I've got applause, rim shot, which is not what that actually is, but that's what people call it. I've got
porn music.
Funky porn music. And horn jazz.
Porn jazz. Okay. I didn't even know porn jazz was a thing.
No,
apparently it is.
It's horn jazz, but
I mean, it sounds like porn jazz.
Or it could be horny jazz, I guess.
Horny jazz.
Those are the built-in ones on this device.
Y'all into some horny jazz?
We were out the last couple of weeks, so sorry about that if you were expecting episodes.
We went to Seattle.
And we were kind of sick and stuff.
And
life
baby
happened.
and
babies. Well, just the one baby, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, in Seattle, there were multiple babies.
There were other babies in Seattle, that's true.
We stayed with multiple babies. Just babies.
We stayed at a baby house.
We stayed at a baby house run by babies. No, thank you to Eva for letting us stay with you.
Run by babies is still fairly accurate.
But Rory had a great time. We had a great time. It was a great time. That was not a joke.
I can make things that aren't jokes seem like jokes just by adding. Hilarious.
Everyone is laughing right now.
They're applauding.
At your stellar editing skills.
Oh, I'm not editing right now. I'm just pushing buttons.
Your stellar button pushing skills.
My stellar button pushing
Button
skills. Button pushing. I have an update, sort of.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, or however long ago it was, some previous episode, we were talking about finding our Netflix history. We looked at the most recent things we had watched for it.
Yes.
So I found that you actually can, on the website, go and download a CSV or an Excel file of your full history of everything you've ever watched on Netflix.
Okay. And are you going to tell me that I should set up my own profile because I've ruined yours?
No. I think there could be maybe something interesting in going through that history on this podcast, but I haven't figured out what it is yet. However, it did remind me of something that I don't know if you know about, and I think our listeners need to know about, which is the Netflix example show. Do you know about this?
No.
So you can't find it just by searching on Netflix, but if you Google Netflix example show, it'll come up, and it's like literally an example of a show that they put up to test that Netflix was working right. And it's really boring, but also kind of entertaining in how weird it is.
Huh.
It's just random stuff, right? So I actually have it pulled up on my computer here.
Yes, I'm looking at it. The description says an example of a show, 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 an example of a show.
Yes. And I'll turn it on for a second here. So the entire show is captioned, "There's no crying in baseball."
Right now I'm watching a guy moonwalk with a laptop.
Yes, there's a guy that's moonwalking with a laptop. There's a toy train going around a track. It's got some penguins sitting in it.
There's a tennis ball on a string.
The same moonwalking guy is throwing a ball back and forth. And then this is my favorite part. The guy starts reciting, I believe, Shakespeare into the camera.
All right.
So, I mean, it's obviously what it is. It's an example of a show, but I think it's kind of fascinating to check it out. So if you've never seen that, maybe Google Netflix example of a show or example show.
Okay. How long is it?
I think there's 2 episodes. They're like 10 minutes, and they might both be the same episode.
It's interesting that they never took it down.
Yeah, but you don't find it if you search example show on Netflix.
You have to Google it.
You have to Google it. But anyway, I thought that was funny. I thought people should know about that.
Yeah, and now they do.
Now they do. Now the people that listen to this podcast know about that. So that is some amount of people. Shall we do podcast ideas?
Yes.
The thing that we do on this podcast.
Yes.
Do you have one, or do you want me to start?
I have a couple.
Okay.
My first one is called Taco Tuesday.
Okay.
And it is where every week we go to a different Mexican restaurant and we review it.
Okay.
This might just be a ploy for me to get you to go out to Mexican more often.
You just want to get tacos every Tuesday, I guess.
I mean,
which is fair.
Yeah. Not necessarily tacos. I'm more of an enchilada gal, but...
Sure. But there's no day of the week that starts with E.
It's true.
So that just obviously doesn't work.
And enchiladas every day would be too many enchiladas.
And too many podcasts to make as well. Okay. I don't see much funny to talk about there necessarily, but it's an idea.
Depends on the restaurant.
I guess.
Depends on the restaurant. We went to this restaurant and they put sombreros on our head when we walked in. Could be funny.
We did actually go to a Mexican restaurant yesterday where there were paintings on the walls. Every wall had several big murals of different people who
I didn't know who any of them were.
I'm pretty sure they were famous people, but I didn't recognize any of them.
One of them might have been Selena.
Okay. I didn't even see if any of them, none of the ones I saw were even women, but it was called, it's like I think the place is called like Salsa Latina or something.
Salsa Latina.
And so
it was pretty good.
I assume that the paintings are like famous Latino or Latine people or whatever.
Yeah.
But I didn't recognize any of them. One of them could have been Pitbull, maybe, but I don't know if I know what he actually looks like. But it was like a bald guy in a suit.
I don't think I know what Pitbull looks like.
Yeah, I think he's a bald guy in a suit. But that's I could be totally wrong about that.
Are you going to Google it?
No.
Okay. You don't want to know?
No, I don't. Well, I don't think Google would help, right? Because it didn't really look like the painting wasn't good enough to really recognize, I feel like. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, I felt like that was the case with most of the paintings in there. So this would be the podcast.
Right. Talking about random stuff at Mexican
I had a veggie chimichanga, which was absolutely delicious. Very good ranchero sauce.
We have been to a lot of Mexican restaurants lately, I feel like, and different ones that are around here. There are quite a few pretty close to us, which is cool. But something I've noticed at a lot of them is I'll get a quesadilla, and my normal idea of a quesadilla is, it's cut up, you can eat it with your hands, probably, usually, right? Like it's got cheese in it and it's got some other stuff like meat or whatever.
Yeah.
The last several places we've gone, the quesadilla I've gotten has just been basically like a bag full of meat or meat and stuff.
Yeah.
With some cheese in there, and it's like, but a tortilla tortilla is a very bad bag because it's open on 3 out of 4 sides.
Yeah.
Right. So like you cannot pick it up. I honestly don't know how you're supposed to eat it. I use a fork and knife, but it's awkward, right? Like I don't know. I don't understand. Like I'm sure they're like, oh, let's give them lots of the filling. That's what the people want. But what the people want when they get a quesadilla, I think, is a quesadilla you can eat. Right?
That's true. That's true. It depends on the people, I suppose. But I don't know what other people who might like this kind of thing are even doing. Like, how do you do this? But you ate it and you said it was pretty good.
Yeah, the stuff inside was good. It was like I got a fajita quesadilla and it had like, steak and onions and stuff. And that was good stuff, but it was like it was kind of like eating, I don't know, like a salad, but the salad was meat and and onions and peppers and stuff. Like, it was just, Yeah,
I had a sandwich the other day that was like that, where I definitely had to fork and knife it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I guess I'm not necessarily opposed to that, but like...
It was delicious, though.
Yeah, but like a knife doesn't cut through a quesadilla or like a tortilla very well. You know what I mean?
You need like a steak knife.
Yeah, like a butter knife or whatever that you have just it doesn't work that well. It's and when you do get cut through, like you can't cut it into very small like bite-sized pieces because stuff falls out and it's just awkward, right? Like
yeah.
I don't know. I don't understand what the like intended way to eat it is, you know? And it could be like it's a thing in some Latin American cuisine that is like normal and people know how to do it. And I just don't know about it because I'm a gringo or whatever. But like, I don't know.
So delicious, but difficult.
Yeah, that's my autobiography.
The place we went to yesterday also had very good margaritas. They used a salt on the rim that was kind of like a reddish salt. And it was like slightly sweet as well as salty.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of salt it was.
It was very good. So I enjoyed that. I would go back to that place.
Yeah.
We went to a place a couple weeks ago, I feel like, that was not as good.
Okay.
That was El Patron.
Yeah, the building's very cool. It's like bright yellow building with like green trim and stuff.
Yeah.
So here's a question though. Is this interesting for anyone who doesn't live in Albany or nearby?
We would travel to go to Mexican restaurants.
So you would listen if we came to your city and reviewed restaurants in your city?
Or you could take notes for future trips because, you know, people want to visit Albany.
Yeah. I do feel like a restaurant review podcast of restaurants in a small city.
We could travel to NYC.
We could. That would be more people that would be interested, but it would still be pretty localized, like interest in the content, unless there was something else to make it, you know, pop, you know, or stand out or whatever.
I mean, really, this was just a ploy for me to get more tacos.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Shall we move on then?
We can move on.
So,
what do you got?
So, in the vein of Mexican food, sort of, my idea is called Can We Nachos, which is a stupid name for it.
Okay.
But the idea is we come up with recipes, I guess you would say, for things that are nachos-like. Basically, some kind of chip-like thing with some kind of topping thing on it.
Okay.
So, like, I don't know, like, what if we covered pita chips with Nutella and strawberries or something, right? Like it'd be some kind of dessert nachos.
Okay.
Or I don't know, like I guess fondue is kind of nachos in a way if you eat it that way. Anyway, yeah, so that's the idea. Like, what can we come up with weird or funny nacho ideas, I guess?
Okay. How do we make this funny?
I guess I'm imagining like really wild ideas, like that would be bad, but maybe we eat. Maybe
do we have to eat the bad nachos?
Yeah, maybe we come up with bad ideas and then have to eat them. Right?
Could we like roll? Are we going to do like we could roll for nachos?
Okay, roll for nachos. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Because there's that. You're probably kind of referencing like there's a TikTok channel where it's like roll for sandwich, and he has like a bunch of tables of ingredients, and then he rolls D20s or whatever, and like makes the sandwich and has to eat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you be the one to eat the bad nachos? Do I have to eat the bad nachos?
What if we...
Because I'm a little bit of a picky eater.
Well, so am I. But what if we come up... I mean, obviously we would want to do it within certain limits, right? We're not making any of those like 1,000-year egg nachos or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, those are probably expensive or
and
whatever.
Nothing with meat for me, obviously.
Also, by the way, I think I got a couple of things conflated there because there's also balut. And I think that's the thing with the full baby ducks in them or whatever. It doesn't matter. Regardless, like what if we have to eat the other person's idea, and so we're trying to like prank each other, sort of like what if we're trying to like outdo each other on best or worst, like I'll suggest, I don't know, like what's a like bagel chips covered in, I don't know, eggs or something, which I know you hate. Or I don't know. There's some
because I just wouldn't eat that.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't eat it in real life.
No,
but for the podcast, it's like a dare, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, like I just don't think I could do it. I'm feeling nauseous just thinking about it. I mean, if it's eggs, like I really hate eggs.
Yeah. Well, and obviously, I was gonna say maybe it's something like if we can make something the other person like refuses to eat, then we win.
Yeah.
But if you eat it, you win, even if it's terrible or whatever.
But could we have veto ingredients?
Yeah, I was going to say there probably has to be veto ingredients because I could easily win that every time by putting meat on it, right?
Yeah.
So
or eggs.
Right. And eggs in this case, probably.
Like I could win every time by putting mushrooms on.
No, I would eat it. I don't like mushrooms, but I would eat it.
All right. What about
for the vine, I would eat it.
Yeah. See, I'm a pickier eater than you because there are foods that I refuse to eat. I'm trying to think of ones if there are any foods that you refuse to eat.
I would have a rough time if it was a lot of olives, probably, I think.
Yeah.
But I think I would still try to do it.
See, olives, I feel like I could try to do. But like if it was carrots, raw carrots, or eggs, there's no way.
You just cannot eat them. I mean, not even for
I have a physical reaction to them.
Yeah.
Like eggs especially. Carrots I might be able to choke down, but like eggs like make me feel physically ill.
To be fair, eggs and carrots aren't very interesting toppings anyway.
Yeah.
So it seems like that wouldn't be that hard to work around.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like the point is to put on stuff that the other person specifically doesn't like. It's more like, what's the weirdest, grossest combination of stuff?
Yeah.
That's still like food, regular food stuff.
So we have a couple veto foods. Yeah. We'd have to have the veto foods of like, I know there's things that you just hate, and there's things that I just hate, and like it'd be stupid to just choose those ones.
Yeah, maybe it's like it has to be made of ingredients of stuff that you would eat, like at least
normally
could eat normally.
But we put them together.
But when you put them together, it's weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you think of any stuff like that might work? I mean, this might be it might be too restrictive for it to work, but also be interesting. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. The things that you could use for chips is a little bit limited. Right? Like if you do pita chips, like that's going to be pretty good with most things.
Yeah.
Pita chips are pretty bland.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, most chips are kind of by nature.
Is there something weird that we could use for chips?
Kale chips? I wouldn't enjoy the kale chips or probably any of those like vegetable chips that you like.
Good.
Yeah, you like them, but I don't, and I feel like they don't go with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right, like kale chips with Nutella and
okay, kale chips with Nutella would be weird.
Would be pretty weird, and like I don't know what doesn't go with Nutella, pickles or something maybe.
Yeah.
Kale chips with Nutella and pickles. Can we nachos that?
Yeah, pickles.
Pickle chips, is that
pickles?
A thing?
I don't enjoy either. I don't know where Rory gets that from. Not me.
Oh yeah, I like sweet pickles, but not that much, and I don't like other kinds of pickles.
Yeah.
All you need for chips though is something edible that's like small and hard, right? Like just small and crunchy.
Yeah.
So it could be like
Necco wafers
for the chips. Yeah, exactly. Or I was gonna say like small chunks of like Rice Krispie treats or something.
Banana
chips. That's pretty good. Yeah. I was gonna say, are pickle chips a thing? I feel like they might still just be pickles though.
I'm
like
not sure.
I feel like it's a thing, but
yeah, I'm not sure.
And pickles are a thing where I don't normally eat it, but I feel like it's fair game for a topping, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like relish could be a good thing that wouldn't go with a lot of things, maybe. Although some people really like relish, so I don't know. I'm not into relish. Or like fig jam.
Or mayonnaise.
Oh man. Well, I like mayonnaise, but I still feel like
I could try to figure out a way to make you not like mayonnaise. Well, mayonnaise would also be on my veto list.
Okay. Well, it wouldn't have to be on my veto list, so we could come up with some nasty stuff probably.
Yeah.
Because like you could use the mayonnaise like it's the sour cream, right? Like, because if we think about like a typical nacho configuration, right? You got the chips, usually have some kind of beans, so we could do like kale chips with jelly beans, and you have some kind of, you have tomatoes usually, so I don't know, apples or something. Like just trying to think of like what you typically have, right? Like beans, tomatoes, you have sour cream.
Could we make refried jelly beans?
Refried jelly beans. Interesting. I don't know what that means. I don't really know what refried beans, how they're made.
I mean,
it doesn't mean beans cooked twice. I know that. It's like I think you're just cooking and mashing up the beans.
But they're not like, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand.
Anyway, we could try and do that, but with jelly beans.
Yeah.
That would probably be interesting.
Yeah, refried jelly beans.
Refried jelly beans.
And, what's the cheese here? Like,
so I feel like this has some legs.
It could have, it could be something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, should we put that aside and come back to it if we don't have a better idea?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have one?
Yeah. So it's called Tales from the Zoo, and it's Tales, Tails.
Of course. Sure. Uh-huh.
And we just go to the zoo and talk about interesting stuff we see at the zoo.
Okay.
We go to different zoos. A lot of my ideas involve traveling.
Right. So we went to the Woodland Park Zoo in Seattle when we were there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We saw, speaking of tails, we saw a snow leopard, which I didn't realize this, but they have like the most like long, floofy, luxurious tails.
Gigantic, very puffy.
It's like twice as long as they are, or maybe the tail's as long as the rest of their body or whatever. And it's like kind of poofs out on the end.
Yeah, I don't know what I pictured for snow leopard. And I've seen the snow leopard before, and I guess I just didn't remember the tail. But like, I feel like I always picture a snow leopard like not having a tail or something.
I picture them with like a regular leopard tail.
A leopard tail,
right?
Leopard tail.
Their tail looks like if you took a cat's tail, like a regular cat's tail, pretty much, but just went into Photoshop and scaled it up like 2 or 3 times.
So you're taking my idea very literally.
Well,
you're like, let's just review animal tails.
That's actually
that could be fun.
That wasn't necessarily my idea, but that is it. I like that.
Yeah, that could be pretty fun.
And we don't even necessarily have to go to a zoo just to talk about different animal tails, but Tales from the Zoo still works pretty well.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Would it be a little bit like our Is There a Butt, where we like review an animal based on whether they have a good tail or a tail? Like bobcats, 0 stars because they have no tail or they have a very little tail or whatever, right? Like we're just tail obsessed, and that's our main criteria for judging.
But bobcats have a cute little puffy tail. It's cute.
Okay.
It's the right tail for the bobcat. I'm not sure the snow leopard's tail is the right tail for the snow leopard. It does look like somebody took a tail from something else.
Yeah, or like I said, like photoshopped it, just the tail to be bigger.
I wonder if they all have long, floofy tails like that, or if that one had an exceptionally floofy tail.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because, we have a sample size of 1 here.
That's true. I guess we should do a little due diligence and Google it and make sure that this is a common trait and this isn't some kind of weird mutant snow leopard with a really big luxurious tail.
Like a mutant. I mean, like you have cats that are furrier than other cats with longer hair. Are there variations in snow leopards like that?
I don't think so. I feel like that is common in like, house cats, but I don't feel like you see that much within species of wild cats, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these images and they're all pretty floofy.
Yeah, they've all got the long floofy tail.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of them have it in their mouth.
Little baby one. Look at this little baby.
Yeah, yep, it's got a pretty long tail. But look at these pictures. A bunch of them have the tail just in their mouth.
Yeah, just hanging out in their mouth.
Like a lot of them. Like that must be a common thing they like to do.
Oh, they're very cute. They're very cute.
Okay, so I feel like this has some legs. I want to talk about just different animals based on their tails.
This one's like snuggling with his tail.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's kind of looks smug about it. Like, check out my luxurious
his tail. Is, or that one's tail is especially floofy too.
Yeah.
But I love
like,
I love
ladies.
Yeah. Ladies, check out my luxurious tail. I don't know why, but the pictures of the leopards with the tail in their mouth is really compelling, like amusing or something to me. Like, I just want to look.
It's like they're carrying it.
Yeah. They're carrying their tail, but they don't need to. It's already attached. Why do they do that?
This one's not a picture of a tail, but look at this snow leopard in mid-jump.
Whoa, that's a wild picture.
He's like splayed out. Like a cat jumping out of a window. Do yourself a favor, listeners, and Google snow leopard tail and do a Google image search, because you are just going to come up with quite a few pictures of snow leopards with their tails in their mouths, and it is adorable.
Okay, so according to picturesofcats.org, which is a great website name, snow leopards do not bite their tails to keep their nose warm, as has been stated. Neither do they bite their tails in an aggressively harmful way. They don't even bite their tails. They hold their tails in their mouths because they enjoy doing it as a distracting diversion, as a comforter, or as an act within play. My view is that it's similar to human babies sucking their thumbs. I don't know if that's just a random guy saying that.
DiscoverWildlife.com says one theory is that biting their tails helps to keep snow leopards warm in their cold natural environment, but other people think it's just an example of play behavior.
Yeah, I guess I am kind of inclined to think that it's like when we play with like a stringy thing with the cats, and they'll chase their tails around. It's just that the snow leopard's tails are long enough they can catch them.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just that. It's pretty cute though.
Yeah, Goosebump does chase his tail quite often. It's very cute.
Yeah.
A podcast where we just talk about our cats. That could be fun too.
I think that's our podcast already.
Oh. Inspired by our cat sitting in the window right now, trying to chase a bug that's outside the window.
Yes.
It's very cute and also very distracting.
But so a podcast about animal tales, I'm actually pretty into.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that could be fun.
That could be fun.
All right. But do you have any other ideas this week?
I have an idea called Holy Holes. Take like holy with a W.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a podcast all about holes.
All about holes.
Just holes. There's lots of kinds of holes. There's black holes. There's buttholes. There's
potholes.
Potholes. There's holes in the ground. There's how many holes does a straw have?
Oh.
Right. There's stuff like that. Right. There's all kinds of stuff with holes. We could talk about the novel Holes, I guess, in the movie.
Yeah, straw is just one long hole, really.
Yeah, kind of. But it's also, if you cover up one hole, it still has a hole. Right?
Yeah, yep.
You could also argue that a person, like your digestive system, is only one hole that goes directly from your mouth to your butt. Right? It's one long tube, basically. But you could also say it's not that. So
yeah, no, I mean, I think it still has two holes, right? Because if you can cover up one hole and there's still a hole, that's two holes.
Right. I mean, I find that argument persuasive.
Yeah.
But I don't know if everybody would agree. I mean, it seems like your basic definition of a hole, right, is kind of a thing that goes all the way through something, right? But it doesn't have to be, because a hole in the ground never goes all the way through.
Yeah,
earth,
no,
right?
I don't think it has to be. I disagree.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, one definition of a hole that I can imagine people have in their head is that it has to go all the way through, right? But obviously when we talk about holes, they don't always go all the way through or whatever. Also, a black hole isn't even a hole, kind of, right? It's a place in space where stuff gets sucked in, but like
it's just it's a shorthand.
Yeah, I mean it's obviously what it's called, and it's similar to holes, I guess, in some ways, but it's not like there's a piece of space that has like a part cut out that stuff falls into, really.
Yeah.
Or I mean, maybe it kind of is like that, but I don't think so. I mean, I guess, well, it's a hole in gravity, I guess, because gravity, it's like gravity, it really intends gravity well, right? And the way that gravity kind of works is that if you imagine space as like a flat sheet, everywhere there's a planet or whatever, it's weighing down the sheet, and things around it can fall in, right? Because it's like maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of one of the ways to picture how gravity works.
Yeah.
Anyway, so maybe it's kind of like a hole in gravity.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the idea is just like a podcast about holes. There's lots of different kinds of holes. We could just talk about a different kind of hole every week. Talk about the philosophy of what counts as a hole and things like that.
How do we make this funny?
Well, I don't know if it's funny so much as just like there could be some interesting stuff, and we could talk about it and, have some funny banter maybe about it. But like, I mean, if an episode is about buttholes, that's inherently pretty funny, right?
Right.
And, also just saying something hole is
mouth hole,
ear hole, nose hole. It's just kind of a funny word. And also the idea of doing a podcast that's about holes is pretty stupid to begin with. So I think that's kind of funny.
All right. I don't know if it has as much legs as some of our other ideas, but do you have more, or do we want to try and narrow it down?
Let's see. One more idea I have that I don't think has very much legs, but I just wanted to say it, is a podcast called Here Come the Grannies.
Okay, it's a Bluey reference.
Which is a Bluey thing, and we would just talk like grannies. Or
like the grannies on Bluey? We have to have an Australian accent, because I can't do an Australian accent.
I don't know if we would have to have an Australian accent.
Here come the grannies.
No, that wasn't at all. That was a little bit Scottish, maybe.
Yep. Everything that I try to do ends up just going Scottish.
Yeah.
So
here come the grannies. Yeah, I don't know. We don't have to.
Here come the grannies.
No, but we don't need to do an accent or whatever. We need to do granny voices.
They just talk like this.
Talk like grannies. Janet. One of them was named Janet in the episode I was watching.
Janet?
And I forget what the other one's name was. Ethel or something, maybe. So yeah, we would. It's kind of similar to my wizard idea, I guess, I had a while ago, where we would come up with granny characters to be. We'd come up with our personas as grannies, and then I don't know what we would talk about. Maybe holes.
Yeah.
Or leopard tails or something, but.
Might just be my mood right now, but I don't think I feel like talking like a granny.
You don't feel like talking like a granny?
Sometimes I think it's funny, but right now it feels weird.
Okay. Well, maybe we think about that for next time or something.
All right.
Okay, cool. So yeah, let's recap our ideas so far, and then we can pick one, I guess.
Okay, so we've got Tales from the Zoo.
Tales from the Zoo. Can We Nachos? Holes, Holy Holes,
Taco Tuesday,
and Taco Tuesday. I don't think it's Taco Tuesday.
It's not. It's Monday.
Yes, indeed. But it could be the Tails one. I kind of feel like talking about holes as well. I could do either of those.
I'm leaning towards the Tails, actually.
Yeah. I feel like we often gravitate towards random stuff about animals. So
yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's fun to talk about.
It's fun to talk about animals. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite kind of tail? Right? Because actually, why don't we talk about what different kinds of tails there are, right?
So there's like pigtails.
Pigtails, like curly ones. You got like birds, got feathery tails, like a chicken.
We got the little floofy bobcat tails.
Floofy little tails, like a sheep also has kind of a floofy bobcat tail.
Yeah.
Right? Or bears do also, little tails.
What's your least favorite tail?
Does a whole snake count?
Is a snake just a tail?
Is this a tail with a head?
Because I think my least favorite tail is probably when you see like a gecko or any other kind of lizard that can like let loose its tail as a defense mechanism.
You don't like?
No. When the tail grows back, because it grows back really like weird and deformed.
Okay, I don't know if I've seen that.
Like if you look up if you look up leopard geckos tails, if they ever like lose their tail, they've got big fat tails. When they grow back, they look real weird.
Oh wow, it does look weird. It's like a weird bulb on the end of the tail.
Yeah, it's like
whoa, and I've seen one that's got like a second tail growing out of its new tail.
Yeah, they like weird. Oftentimes just don't grow back normal.
Weird, yeah. I don't care for that.
Yeah, actually, so that's probably my least favorite.
I think my least favorite tail,
although their tails normally are kind of weird looking, because this is like their normal tail.
Yeah, they're kind of big and they're like meaty. They got a meaty,
juicy tail.
Yeah, I think my least favorite. I don't like that. It doesn't look tail-like to me, so I don't think I like that. But I think my least favorite tail is when like really thin, skinny tail, like rat tails.
Oh, really? You don't like rat tails?
I don't like tails where it's like the rest of the animal is furry, but their tail is like skin.
That's funny because I feel like that's often the thing that people have a problem with rats is their tails.
Yeah,
and it's never bothered me. Like
I don't have that big of a problem with rats themselves. But I feel like there's a number of things where like, I guess maybe it's like when the tail doesn't match the thing.
Yeah.
Right? Like when the tail is different. But I guess I'm imagining like those Chinese crested dogs where they're like sparsely covered in hair.
Yeah.
And their skin is weird and like, but a tail version of that.
Do you feel like rats' tails don't fit them? Because I feel like rats aren't particularly furry. I feel like their tails fit them pretty well.
What do you mean? They're covered in fur.
I mean, but it's like thin fur. It's not like, they're not like hamsters.
They're not floofy or anything, but they're covered in fur, except for their feet, which is, I don't know, I guess that doesn't bother me for some reason, and their nose and stuff. But then the tail not having hair on it.
Does the tail has some hair.
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure it does. Let's see. Rat tail. I'm just going to get results of people with rat tails.
Right. Oh, that might be my least favorite tail. The rat tail hairstyle.
They have a little bit of hair. If you zoom in, you can see it. It's like peach fuzz.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, my body is covered in peach fuzz or whatever too, but like, you know, it's I don't know. There's something about the like transition from having hair to being skin, or maybe just animals that are covered in skin instead of hair in general kind of bothers me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Sphinx cats are a little creepy. Naked mole rats and stuff are kind of creepy.
Sphinx cats have a little nub tail, don't they?
Oh, I don't know. But I think maybe actually the rat tail hairstyle might be my least favorite tail.
No, maybe they don't. No, they have an actual tail.
Yeah. Sock has kind of a terrible tail. Our cat
His
Sock.
His tail is real broken.
Yeah, he's got like a tiny little like curled over tail that he's not really supposed to have, like as part of his breed or whatever.
Yeah.
It's sort of unpleasant every time you pet him.
Yeah. It's like it broke when he was a baby and didn't heal right or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like permanently curled over.
Yeah. Should we talk about more kinds of tails though? So we got floofy tails. We got like squirrel tails. They're real floofy.
Squirrel tails are good. I like squirrel tails.
Squirrel tails are kind of the opposite of rat tails. Instead of being less floofy, they're way more floofy.
Yeah. Do you think that doesn't fit the squirrel, so you dislike it?
No, I like that.
You like that?
I don't know.
You like a fluffy boy.
Yeah. Chipmunks have the little tiny bobtails, right?
Yeah.
Basically. You got like whale tails and shark tails and stuff, which are similar but flipped the opposite way, right?
Yeah.
Like shark tails are vertical and whale tails are horizontal. What other kind of tails are there? You got like the giraffe and lion and elephant kind of tail where it's like
fur at the
Got
end.
a floof at the end. Yeah. I don't know how I feel
Bulls
about
have
that.
tails like that too.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Cows in general. I think there's
horse tails.
Horse
all
tails,
hair back
which
there.
is just hair. Yeah.
But hair you can twitch.
Right. It says smack flies or whatever. Yeah. I don't think I like horse tails. I think they don't like bother me, but I feel like that's not a real tail. You just grew a haircut on your butt.
I like them.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Fancy.
I guess they can be fancy, and you can style them like hair.
Yeah.
You can put them in a little bob or whatever too.
Like the Arabian ones that like go up and like a whoosh.
Like a rooster or something.
Yeah.
Rooster tails, I guess, are another
tails.
things.
Chickens can have some pretty fancy tails.
Yeah.
Feather duster type tails.
Penguin, Peacocks got like
the ultimate tail, right?
Yeah, they got they're mostly tail.
At least the boys.
Yeah, right. I don't know if I don't know what a peahen tail looks like actually.
Yeah, why did we decide that women were supposed to be like the fancy dressed up makeup ones when like in nature it's the guys putting on the show and looking all fancy?
I think that differs drastically between different species.
But like,
birds,
for birds
sure. Pretty much do that.
Why can't we be more like birds?
I guess insects sometimes, like spiders do that. They're not insects, but like bugs, sometimes the male does the display.
I mean, look at lions. The males are definitely the more flamboyant ones.
Yeah, that's true. They got the big mane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Are there a lot of species where the male is the more, or I mean, where the female is the more?
I don't think so.
Fancy one.
I don't think so. I feel like it's either like the same or the male's the fancy one.
Yeah. Or, well, obviously humans
so
sort of do that.
Men, get more fancy, please.
I mean, I'm pretty peacock-like, I feel like. I wear the bright colors in the relationship.
You're an exception to this.
I wear the bright pants in this relationship.
That's true. I am primarily black.
You're the more gothy one of us.
Yeah, I got the whole gothy thing going on.
Well, this is straying away from tails, and I think we could get into a whole socio-political discussion about gender politics or whatever in humans, obviously.
What do camels' tails look like?
I'm pretty sure they have like lion, cow, giraffe type tails with a floof at the end. Although they're there are the two different kinds of camels, and the two humped camels I know less about. So they could have fluffy tails for all I know.
Raccoons have pretty good tails.
Oh, yes. Yes, raccoons. Floofy and also stripy.
Floofy and stripy.
Yeah.
Lemurs.
Lemurs got similar to raccoons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beaver tails.
But they can hang from them. So.
Oh, true. Prehensile tails are a thing.
Prehensile tails are pretty great.
Beaver tails, which are pretty weird, and I feel like they're fairly singular in the animal kingdom, except
with platypus.
Platypus also has beaver type tail. Right?
Platypus is pretty singular, just like it's just like a walking proof of evolution, because
or
nobody would have come up with that.
Well, I mean, I think you could say it's proof that evolution doesn't make sense, because why would evolution just take a bunch of well-known things from completely unrelated animals and stick them together? I mean, I obviously believe in evolution, and I don't think there's a god that made platypuses, but I do think it could make you question some stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Fair. I suppose that argument could go the other direction.
I'm looking at a platypus right now, a picture of one, not a real one. I didn't just conjure a platypus into my life, but their tail is flat like a beaver tail, but I feel like the texture is different. It looks like it's furry. Do platypuses make because beavers use their tail to whap down mud or something, right? To make their dams?
Yeah, what's the plural of platypus?
Either platypi or platypuses.
Do platypuses, it's very difficult to say, make dams?
I don't know.
Why does platypus have a beaver tail? Platypus is a bottom feeder that uses its beaver-like tail to steer and its webbed feet to propel itself through the water while hunting for insects, shellfish, and worms.
Huh. So they don't use it for any...
According to the National Ocean Service.
They don't use it for any beaver-like activities, I guess. Beaver tails are also scaly, right? They're not furry. They're not skin. They're scaly or something, right?
Are they?
I think so. I'm looking at one. It looks scaly.
Oh, platypuses do build dams.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait, now hold on. Stupid AI overview.
Oh my God. Can we talk for a second about the Google AI thing? Because it is...
I hate it.
It's so bad.
I hate it. There's a workaround for it, apparently.
What do you mean?
You can bypass the, if you add to your search, a year, before 2100.
Before 2100?
Just for instance, because that way it's, further out. But if you include a year limitation in your search, it will bypass the AI overview.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I just scroll past it.
But it just sucks that you'd have to
I just scroll past it because
But I used to when it would show the synopsis of the first result, and so I'm used to looking at that. But now it's a stupid AI overview.
But it's if you talk to ChatGPT or whatever, you're gonna get stuff that's wrong. But it's not always immediately obvious that it's completely wrong. But the Google AI thing has been completely obviously wrong most of the times I've looked at it, right? I was looking up current female heads of state or whatever, world leaders, and it was Jacinda Ardern or whatever, and Theresa May. I was looking this up recently. Theresa May hasn't been the prime minister of the UK for 5 years.
Yeah.
And Jacinda Ardern stepped down last year, I think. She hasn't been for a while either. Or something I was looking up, it was it gave me an answer and from Wikipedia basically, and I went and looked at Wikipedia and it was what Google said, and it was and that's why that's wrong, right? It was an example of something wrong, and Google just took it and gave me that as the answer.
Yeah, so I saw this meme somebody posted the other day. I don't know if it's true, but it was somebody Googling, "I'm feeling depressed," and the AI overview says there are many things you can try to deal with your depression. One Reddit user suggests jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Wow.
And then it's got some actual helpful suggestions for depression.
I wonder if that's real. That's
don't
wild.
know if it's real.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's real, but the fact that I'm questioning whether or not it's real means there's probably an issue with the AI, right?
Yeah, well, I saw something where somebody posted a joke on Reddit, and then somebody was just waiting for this to show up in the Google AI, and then the next comment was wow, that was fast, and it was a screenshot of that comment, for searching for a similar topic, and that comment was in the
yeah
thing.
yeah yep
It's yeah. Anyway.
We are ensuring like more and more wrong information gets out into the world because plenty of people are just going to read the AI overview and not even like think about the fact that it says AI overview.
Yeah. Well, I think people right now are recognizing it, but I imagine like over time people are going to kind of forget about it more and just like be like, oh yeah, Google said this.
Yeah.
Which people already do, right? People already take the first thing on Google as gospel when they shouldn't. And this is like much worse. It's like surprising how bad it is.
Well, because you don't even have a source most of the time unless the source is cited right in the AI, right? Like that one sorted Reddit, which obviously...
There's lots of good information on Reddit, but how would the AI know what was good or what was a joke or what was whatever?
Right. Well, like generally though, if you're researching something, you want to look for... You're probably not going to use Reddit as your source, right?
Right. Well, it depends on what you're looking for. There's lots of stuff where, like, if you look for example, like how to do something in a video game, Reddit is often going to have your best answer, but Google might say to do the opposite.
Yeah.
You know, or something
I'm talking like actual, like I'm writing a paper on something.
Right.
I'm not going to be like Bomberman69 on Reddit, according to Bomberman69 on Reddit.
Right. But you're going to be pretty skeptical of just using the first thing on Google anyway if you're doing an actual research paper. I hope.
You should be, but
anyway,
should be and will be are two different things.
Anyway, that's pretty immaterial to what we were talking about. Yeah. Did you find out whether they make dams? Platypuses?
I couldn't find a conclusive answer. It seems like maybe they will like live in dam-like structures. I didn't find anything that says they make them.
So you think maybe they just move into somebody else's dam?
Maybe they just steal beavers' dams.
I don't think beavers live in the same places, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't feel like there are any Australian beavers.
Yeah.
Unless you count platypuses as the Australian version of beavers.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see what AI has to say. You know, a podcast where we just like find ridiculous AI results for searches could be pretty fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know if I did something different with my search. I just Googled, are there Australian beavers? And it didn't come up with an AI result. But according to learnaboutwildlife.com, under their heading Mammals of Australia, in Australia, all native rodents are in the rats and mice family, i.e. there are no squirrels, porcupines, beavers, etc. native to Australia.
Right. Okay.
No squirrels.
No squirrels.
No squirrels.
Did they bring squirrels over maybe though? Because I feel like squirrels have somewhat been dispersed by people. Well, that's more rats and stuff though than squirrels probably. Squirrels aren't hitching a ride on your boat probably.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting that there are no squirrels in Australia. I will add that to my long list of reasons why I could never live in Australia.
Because there's no squirrels?
There's no squirrels.
But they've got koalas and stuff.
But they also have spiders that chase you up trees.
Okay. But I'm just saying, trading a squirrel for a koala doesn't seem like such a bad trade as far as like there being a cute animal outside or whatever.
That's fair. That's fair. It's too hot in Australia for me, I think.
Yeah.
But also like I just feel like there's such a large number of things that want to kill you there.
Yeah. There's famously lots of venomous things and nasty snakes and lizards and all that kind of stuff.
I would like to visit Australia.
Yeah. Koalas, do they have tails? They don't, do they?
I think they have the little floofy bobcat
little floof tail.
I think they have a little floofy tail. Let's see.
What animals have no tails? Humans, obviously. Other great apes don't have tails.
There is something called an episode of some show called The Tale of Koala's Tail, and this drawing has a koala with a very long tail.
Oh, I see that.
Maybe they had a long tail at one point.
Yeah. They don't look like they have much of a tail.
Yeah, no, they don't. Koala does not have an external tail.
Yeah, okay. I'm also seeing someone has like merged a koala and a ring-tailed lemur, and that's an interesting image.
Whoa.
It's like a koala.
Don't like that.
Basically a koala head on a lemur. It's very silly looking.
Vestiges of a tail are still present in the skeletal structure of the koala, indicating that at some time in its evolutionary history, an external tail was present. It shares this feature with the wombat.
Well, it shares that feature with humans too, right? Like humans and apes and stuff.
SaveTheKoala.com.
Okay, so koalas do not have tails. So 0 stars for koalas. Zero stars for humans and gorillas and chimps and bonobos.
Unless we're grading on like ability to get rid of a tail, then
ability to get rid of a tail.
Then koalas are winning.
Ability to get rid of a tail. On our podcast about tails, I think the ability to not have a tail does not count as a good tail quality.
If it did, though, the frog would probably be the winner because they're like start out with it and then get rid of it.
That's true. They got it
real
as a
quickly.
Tadpole.
They're like, you took so long to do this.
Right. That made me think about axolotls, which, if you don't know about axolotls, they're basically larval, or not larval, but what do you call it? Like the early stage, like tadpoles. What is that called? I don't know, juvenile stage or whatever.
Yeah, but they stay.
But they stay that as they get adults.
They've got cool tails, right?
They've got tadpole tails.
Yeah.
They basically have big tadpole tails.
Yeah.
But the wild thing is that you can do certain stuff to them to induce them to like turn into their like adult form they would have because like amphibians typically have, their aquatic form like tadpoles, and then they're like on land form like frogs and toads and stuff. And salamanders have that too, which axolotls are a type of salamander. But apparently axolotls evolved in like lakes in the middle of like Mexico and stuff, where outside of the lake is basically desert. So they can't live outside of the lake, basically. So they just never evolved into the like land form.
Huh.
So their adult form is definitely an adult form. They can reproduce and stuff, which you can't as a tadpole, right?
Right.
So they're adults, but they just keep their neotenous form or whatever, their like baby form.
They're like starter Pokemon.
Yeah, but you can. There's like, I forget what it is. There's something you can like feed them that will make them grow like a regular tail, and like I think they lose their head wobbly things and stuff.
Oh,
like
but I love their head wobbly things.
Yeah, they turn into like a regular salamander basically.
Huh. Weird. Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, their tails, we could talk about their tails, I guess, and what it changes into and stuff. Any other favorite tails out there before we wrap up? I mean, whales have pretty cool tails. Like that shape is cool.
Goldfish tails can be pretty cool.
Yeah, or like betta fish or whatever.
Betta fish, yeah.
Or like those like lionfish or whatever that are like crazy streamers going everywhere.
Yeah.
Fish have some pretty interesting tails.
Yeah.
That might rival like a peacock tail.
Yeah, they can be quite fancy.
There's also like we talked about some bird tails, but some are, like peacocks and stuff, but there's also birds that would like the bird of paradise and stuff, where they have like long things coming off the bottom of the tail, like long crazy tails.
Yeah. I feel like there's some parrots that have some pretty cool tails too.
Parrots in general are pretty like cool colors and stuff.
Yeah.
I like that. Anybody else have like a long luxurious tail like the snow leopard?
Cheetahs I feel like have a pretty...
Yeah, they have kind of a regular cat tail, I feel like.
I feel like they have a pretty fluffy tail, don't they?
I think it's more or less normal cat tail style.
Wrong.
Like it's a little fluffy, but...
Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Let's see, cheetah tail. It's like fluffy on the end.
A little bit fluffy on the end. Yeah. And it's like black on the end or whatever.
Yeah.
So of the tails we've talked about, what's your favorite of these tails?
Gosh, I'm still I think the snow leopard might be my new favorite.
The snow leopard tail is very good, especially when they put it in their mouth.
Yeah. I mean, I think that might have taken it over the top for me.
Yeah, I do really like a raccoon tail.
Yeah, raccoon
lemur tail's pretty good. Like the stripy floofy ones like that, or a squirrel tail.
Yeah.
I like the floofy tails, I guess.
I think it would be like maybe snow leopard or lemur.
Yeah. Okay.
For me.
All right. Well, I guess is that our discussion of Tales from the Zoo, I guess?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Should we do our social media?
Yeah. So you can find all of our links to our social media on our website, which is coolpodcast.website. You can send us your ideas to ideas@coolpodcast.website, or find us on Facebook or Instagram. We also have a YouTube channel. All of those are at What Should Pod. Please do send us your ideas, because we want to talk about them and give you a shout out. And that way you don't just have to hear our dumb ideas.
We can come up with dumb ideas forever, but we want to hear your dumb ideas.
And that's it. That's all I got.
Welcome to What Should Our Outro Be About? The outro where we try to figure out what this outro that you're listening to right now should be about. I'm still here.
And I'm also still here.
Outros this week.
We pick an animal and come up with a new tale for it.
Like an animal that doesn't have a tail, maybe.
Yeah.
Koalas. Like what would koala tail look like?
Yeah.
I was going to say I could just play a clip of that guy reciting Shakespeare on the Netflix example show. I don't know. It might be a little bit dodgy in terms of copyright as far as clips like that. I don't know if it'd be a big deal, but yeah,
probably be fine.
Yeah, I think it's maybe technically not allowed, but I don't know.
Well, we probably don't have enough listeners for it to matter.
Well, that's not how it actually works, though.
I mean, it is, though, because someone's got to listen to it and be like, hey, now.
Well, if we get a lot of listeners later, somebody might come back and listen, right?
Yeah.
What kind of tail would a koala have?
I think it would be cool if they had like a fan tail.
Okay.
Just like fur, but like in a fan shape.
Oh, we didn't talk about turkey tails. They have kind of a similar, turkeys.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing, but like
tail situation. All fluff.
All fluff. Like a peacock tail, but all fluff.
I don't like that. I don't know how that would work. Because like a peacock tail is a bunch of feathers, but like what would be the structure underneath the floof?
Just bones.
Like a bunch of bony tails?
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
That's why I like it.
Oh, I just realized what the worst tail is.
What?
It's rat tails, but when they become a rat king and their tails are all intertwined.
What?
You know what a rat king is?
No.
So like this thing happens sometimes where like rats will like be in such like small space or whatever, and like filth and whatever, where their like tails grow like to be intertwined with each other, and there's just like a lot of rats that are sort of one animal to an extent.
I don't like that. I didn't want to know that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up a picture that you especially.
I don't want to see it. Don't do it to me. I don't want to see it.
It's on Wikipedia. It's horrible. I won't turn my phone around for you to see it.
Yeah,
but it's the worst.
I think it living in my imagination.
It's worse than what's in your imagination.
Yeah, I mean, I have aphantasia, so like.
Yeah, that's right. But even if you could imagine this in an image, it's worse than that, I think. So anyway, that's the worst tail. But so nobody should have that tail.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of Pokemon have good tails we could talk about. They're obviously not real animals, but somebody went and was like, how can we invent the better tail?
Zappy tail.
Right, like a Pikachu tail, where it looks like a lightning bolt or whatever. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Or a Tauros that has multiple tails. That's kind of like what you were just talking about with the horrible extra bony floofy tails. So it's like
a cursed tail.
It's like a koala with like 8 squirrel tails coming off. Actually, that's a Pokemon too. There's a 9tails.
Yeah.
And it's not that cursed, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of cute.
Yeah.
It seems like it might be cursed in real life.
It would probably not be enjoyable to pet.
What if a koala just had like a 10-foot long tail? Just like a real long tail, and I had to keep it curled up.
I mean, that could be fun too.
It'd be funny, like a floppy tail.
A floppy tail.
It's not even prehensile or anything. It's just useless. Just hangs off the tree. Hangs there. That's why they got rid of them.
Yeah.
Just hung off the tree.
Yeah. I mean, you could just put in the guy reciting Shakespeare too. I think people want to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. It just occurred to me that like it's actually really annoying to try to get any sound and stuff off of Netflix. Like.
Yeah. Okay.
It's easy off YouTube, but it's annoying off Netflix.
Yeah.
So maybe
not. Maybe you'll just have to go look it up for yourself.
Yeah. Go look it up. Google example of a show on Netflix. Netflix example show.
All right.
And do not Google Rat King if you don't know what they look like.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I will not ever.
And in your mind, just picture a koala with a floppy 10-foot long tail. That's useless.
That just weighs it down. It just spends its day dragging its useless tail around.
I guess it could be like a Rapunzel situation for koalas. Yeah. Koalas could climb up the tail.
Yeah.
To save them from a tower.
Yes.
That koalas often get put in by evil witches.
Rapunzel, but with koalas.
Kowenzel? No, that's nothing. All right. Well, I think maybe that's it then.
Yeah.
Picture that terrible koala.
Send us fan art.
Send us your fan art of the terrible koala or whatever kind of tail you want to give to a koala, I guess.
Yeah. Or any other animal.
Or any animal. Or you could change out the tail of a regular animal with a different tail.
But please don't send us drawings of rat kings.
No, don't send us that. We will delete it immediately. All right. Thanks for listening. We're sorry and we won't do better next time. Bye.
Bye.
What was that podcast about? I'm trying to figure it out. Didn't catch what that was about.